Would you believe that we would get our first Code Green of 2025 while we were here in New York City?
It literally happened like 6 minutes after we got out of the show.
Yeah, very on brand. Very on brand for us to be at a Broadway show moments before the Wicked Part 2 trailer drops.
Yeah.
But it's here. It's happening. Hello, everybody. Nobody panic. But oh my God, hey, welcome back to my theatre-themed YouTube channel. Hello to you if you're listening to this on podcast. But are we going to put this out on podcast platforms?
I don't know.
At some time in the future, you may be hearing this on podcast platforms, and I don't wish to not say hello to you. But for now, we are here on some sort of a visual medium, social media app, to talk about the fact that the Wicked Part 2, aka Wicked for Good trailer, has just been released publicly. It had been shared at like a private little, like a cinema convention.
It's had multiple screenings, I think, at conventions, but nothing public.
Yeah.
And then today there was a special re-screening of Wicked in cinemas, which our friend Ashley Hufford was at one of them. Mm-hmm. And what happened was at the end of the film, they played the trailer for part 2. Yeah. And then for Wicked for Good. And then right after, they released it for everyone.
Imagine if they'd done that as a surprise. And like, I'm glad, as a content creator talking about it, I'm particularly glad that they told me when it was going to happen. But imagine that, like, just the people who'd gone to the re-release of Wicked, they were like, oh, and by the way, here's the Part 2 trailer. That would have been a gag.
I mean, it would, but I feel like they wanted to get people's reactions.
Yeah. Before we even react to it as well, I will say, and we haven't watched this at all yet, we, like, walked briskly back here after the show and got pizza, because when in New York, but we haven't looked at it at all. So this is going to be our organic, genuine first-time reaction. But what I wanted to say before then was there has been a lot of anticipation for this trailer for a handful of reasons. One of them is it's dropping a whole lot later than the first Wicked Part 1 trailer dropped.
This campaign's starting really late. Yeah. I mean, it's quite clever. It's landing on the same week of the Tonys. Like, this is...
Which Cynthia Erivo is hosting. That's why we're in New York right now. Cynthia Erivo, of course, one of the 2 stars of the Wicked film adaptations, alongside Ariana Grande. Will Ariana appear at the Tonys? Will there be a Wicked nod? It's a possibility.
Yeah, this feels like a perfect kind of moment for it all to start. And I guess they had to wait anyhow because they were releasing the film on DVDs and then in physical media and on streaming.
And they don't have to build the campaign as early because the first one did really well.
People are already excited.
It's just like, oh, and here's another one. You don't need the same kind of build-up.
Yeah, and like now we're going to find out what they've changed, everything like that.
Well, this is the other part of the anticipation, is part 1 was pretty true to the first act of the stage musical adaptation.
They cut no songs.
And we didn't have anything by way of added songs. Like we had If you only have, like that moment.
We had little bits of additions. Like we had the Adina Krista moment, which was new. That's probably the most new that we had in the whole film.
Worth saying, if you want to relive the Wizamania that was last year and the release of Wicked Part 1, I have several videos here on my channel, including one that breaks down the differences between the first act of the stage musical and the first film. If this is news to you somehow in the year of our Green Lord 2025, Wicked, the stage musical, is being adapted into 2 separate films. So Wicked Part 2, which has since been titled Wicked for Good, that is going to be the title, is going to adapt the second act of the musical, but there's not enough in that timing-wise for how long we know this film is going to be, that it's going to be just that. There is going to have to be a lot of new material, so hence the anticipation.
And in an article today, it was revealed that they both have 1 new song each.
Cynthia Erivo is a co-writer on one of those songs. So, she's trying to get that Academy Award. She's trying to get that Oscar one way or another. I think it's time for us to finally watch the Wicked trailer. Feedback on last year's reaction was that you want to be able to see what we were seeing while we were seeing it. So we're going to come up with a really low-tech solution to that right now, because I'm away from my usual tech setup and editing is a little bit challenging, but I don't want to let you down. So I'm going to hold one here maybe, so that you can see what we're seeing.
Maybe don't hold it forward because you're going to be looking down at this.
I'm going to look like that. If you hold it slightly closer up, just bring it higher. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, we're great at this. Very professional YouTubers. Speaking of which, I haven't introduced myself. My name is Mickey Joe. I'm obsessed with all things theatre.
I'm Aeron James. I'm his stagey fiancé.
There you go. We're about to react to Wicked Part 2. 3, 2, 1. Here it is. That's the little cracked window moment that they shared as a teaser.
Okay, so Glinda's now got the big top bit.
And a blowout. Not the monkeys.
So monkeys still aren't with Elphaba.
Good point. Oh, we saw the chair. We saw the bubbly throne.
Ooh.
It's no good deed. Treehouse?
Yeah.
Propaganda.
Oh, that's fun. It's like in the woods.
Uh-huh.
Oh. Magic Command for March of the Witch Hunters.
Yeah,
We've got
yeah.
the crown.
Here's the monkeys.
Oh.
Morrible,
in
letting her
full
hair down.
moment. Oh, Fiero.
That hat's not working for him.
Oh, that's the moment where
We're hearing no good deed. Echoey.
Ooh.
We saw that moment, Yellow Brick, in the first trailer.
Yeah. Our wizard lies.
Tell him.
Oh, we saw animals in the background then. Like a
Oh, the actual torches.
Hello.
The green, the pink.
Oh, pink dress.
I'm not
Oh,
ready
pink
for full
dress.
good.
Oh, and going up to the top.
Holding the Grimmery, that's what we thought it was.
Oh, that's from Glenda. Was that an invitation to the wedding and she didn't know?
We're going to have to go back and look at that.
Yeah.
This poppy shot that we
fields.
still never saw.
I think the poppy shot's in one of the two new songs. And that's why we don't... Oh, wedding.
The wedding.
We get to the wedding.
I can see that meets a bird.
Oh, Dorothy.
Dorothy and friends.
Literally Dorothy and friends. Oh, that was...
Wizard Disco.
Oh, flying on a broomstick.
Very Anne Juliet. It's the horse. The horse. We saw a better shot. The horse.
Okay, there they are. There's the four. There's
Lies, bro. What is that? Our biggest reaction.
Oh. There's a moment when...
So many animals.
Oh, all the animals. I wonder if there'll be similar animals from part one.
Fly.
Oh.
You're the only friend I ever had. Because
Ooh. Like,
so many friends.
Different outfit. Wait, the outfitting. The outfitting.
iridescent, yeah. That's more like the blue dress.
She's not in pink.
That's an ode to the blue dress in the stage show.
Yeah. What is this?
I'm off to see
Oh, I know what it is.
Is it wonderful?
It's wonderful.
Yeah, but was Glinda there?
Oh, I didn't
That
know
looks like
Glinda
pod
was there.
racing. Two bits of that look like Star Wars to me.
Okay.
Okay. So, big picture, there's no, like, huge, substantial revelatory departure.
They hide Nessa.
They do hide Nessa.
Although they do...
They hid her in the first trailer as well, the first film.
But they show the moment of Elphaba finding Nessa.
They do.
That's what that yellow brick
We should
moment
resist
is.
spoilers.
Yes.
We should err away from spoilers, but a lot of people have seen Wicked at this point. There are also a lot of people out there who are going to see Wicked the musical and are leaving before Act 2 because they don't want spoilers for part 2 of the film.
Actually leaving before Act 2.
People are doing it. It's happening.
People know.
Yeah. We're going to scan through briefly because there's some stuff that we need to look back on, but my overall impression is to be excited. I've heard a couple of negative Nancys being like, Part 2 is going to flop. Part 2 isn't going to be... And I was like, what part of John M. Chu's beautiful, thorough expansion, world-building, artistry of the first act, like the first film, that wasn't all given to him. He, like, fleshed out all of those characters so wonderfully in a way that musical theatre fans were happy with, felt faithful, felt new, paid homage simultaneously to the musical and to The Wizard of Oz, but also new fans were happy with.
I'm also like... The next film has For Good and No Good Deed in it. And, like, it also has some of the best songs of Wicked.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, like, it's got so many moments in it. And also, for, like, anybody that doesn't know Wicked well, Part 2 is The Wizard of Oz. Like,
Yes.
Wicked for Good is your Wizard of Oz. Like, you are going to see how this story about Elphaba and Glenda fully fits in with The Wizard of Oz. That's exciting because... The musical doesn't get to go that in depth of the parallels and how it all links in. Like,
Correct.
This is going to be exciting.
Yeah.
And there's already certain moments of this where I'm like, that veers away from the stage production straight away. Like, all the animals. We do not see in Wicked.
It's monkeys and one goat.
Yeah, well, no, it's not. in Wicked, Act 1, you see a lot of different animals.
Yes,
and then
yeah,
none
yeah.
of them. But none of them.
But I mean,
stay
that
in-
moment of
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
liberating them from the wizard.
Yeah, but I don't even think it's then. I think that's later on. Because she's freed the monkeys, and then you see Dylan. Like in Wicked, you don't see really any of the other inclinations, and I don't think that moment is in that moment in Wicked. I think that's later on.
I think it comes at the end of Wonderful, is like because it shows her on one condition, you let those monkeys go, and then she sees, like, and then again, we don't want to give too many plot spoilers away. While we're talking about other obvious deviations, we saw a clip of them doing the For Good dialogue, which is, "You're the only friend I ever had, and I've had so many friends, but only one that really mattered." And they're not wearing the final outfits, because normally For Good takes place in, you know the name of the castle.
I do.
I put you on the spot.
Kiamoko.
Kiamoko.
Which is Fiero's family castle.
Yeah. But they never use, because they stay in the other castle.
But they also, in this, we get a whole area that we've never seen in a musical as well.
Yeah.
Which is vaguely in As Long As You're Mine, but never, like, designated as a place, which is wherever Alphabet is in the forest.
Yeah.
This whole new area that's completely new for this film.
Yeah. Before we go too much into the detail and the minutiae, what's your overall first impression of the trailer?
It has me intrigued. I don't think it's answered many of my questions, but it's got me intrigued. I feel like it's kind of proving that we're going to go to places that we've not been before. Like, it's showing Glenda's wedding. Thank goodness it never goes as far as the wedding.
I'm curious about this very first scene we see in the trailer where Glenda is in the dress that's like an undergarment, which feels like she's getting ready for a ball or a wedding of some description, because it's a dress you wear underneath another dress. But also you can see her bubble throne in the background, and normally the first time Elphaba acknowledges the bubble throne, they're not on good terms, because she says to her, "We can't all come and go by bubble." Who invented that anyway? The wizard? I'm sure even if he didn't, he'd claim that. Who knew? I knew so much dialogue from the second act. But so that already is speaking to, like, I think this scene is before that, and yet she's seeing the bubble there. So things are going to have changed, Raoul.
I wonder if this scene is to do with the wedding, because I think a bit later on we see Elphaba with an invitation, and I wonder whether Glenda invited Elphaba to the wedding.
I say all of this, there is a little bit of like De Monte detailing on the top of this, so it might not be an undergarment, it just kind of looks like one. But Paul Tazwell is coming for that next consecutive Academy Award and the Tony Award next weekend. We've got
It's this whole new world. It's like a willow tree. It gives the full vibe of like a willow tree, how a willow tree goes up, across and back down.
the way she bursts in there and tears the hat off. Do you think she's doing No Good Deed? Because the colour palette of this room is all a bit bright for No Good Deed.
Oh, but it might be the new song, but it also could be, because,
Let us not forget the new songs.
I mean, No Good Deed, I think, is already at Kiamoko in the timing, but...
She's doing something there. She's working on some such.
Oh, yeah.
I think this could be
That could
the
be
new
No
song.
Good Yeah, no, it could be the new song.
Do you know what a gay gag it would be if they put in like some lyrically reworked version of Making Good?
Oh, that would be interesting.
I'll be making good. If you don't know, that's the pre-Wizard and I Alphabet Act 1 I Want song.
Oh, they give away a very key moment of Act 2.
Do they indeed?
So the moment that you see Morrible, you see exactly what she just created out the window.
Oh, you do.
They
You
are
do
not
indeed.
hiding. They are 190% not hiding Morrible's intentions, nor... That's quite actually interesting that somebody, if you watch the trailer, you'll be able to figure out the connection with Morrible and the Wizard of Oz. Straight away.
We're seeing... this is interesting because the shot of Fiero in the hat that I said wasn't really working for him. And it's Jonathan Bailey. He can make it. We'll all be wearing these hats next summer. Just you watch. Peep my Jonathan Bailey Fiero highlights. Trendsetter here. Does it not look like the guards are doing choreo explicitly?
Oh, yeah, I see that.
That could be like, "We love you, Glinda, if we may be so frank. Thank goodness." Or
that
it
would
could
make
be...
sense because he is in that scene. And so right after that, they go to a moment with Fiero in the woodlands, and he's like,
They do.
That looks like the catfight moment.
Yeah. I think that
But it can't
here's
be...
here's my thing. I have a theory. I have a theory. Because normally in the stage version, and again, if you don't want Wicked spoilers for the stage musical or the film, this is probably not the video for you to be watching because we are going to talk about it. In the stage version, he's already fled with Elphaba and he swings on. What if there's a world in which he hasn't publicly seceded yet, but he's met up with her? No, because I guess the wizard would have to know. I wonder if the guards still think he's still with them, and it's at this moment that he turns. I wonder if there's some way. There's clumsy storytelling leading up to that, but I wonder if there's something to that.
Yeah, because it's. I wonder if they're trying to figure out how to make it clearer. How that whole.
Or if it's just a moment of him like hunting her in a scene earlier, before, because this also doesn't really look like Munchkinland.
No, this seems like where her forest area is.
Why is Jeff Goldblum as the wizard looking at is that a zoetrope?
Well, he was in that kind of world when he was doing the Walt Disney showing everything that he was doing with his inventions. I think that is because...
It's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
And I think this is a clue to who he represents in Wizard of Oz at the start, where it's
Professor Marvel.
In Earth, and he's created the little inventions, and he looks at it, and a zoetrope is like one of those marvels that...
I was joking, but is that literally a zoetrope?
Yeah, that's a zoetrope.
I thought I was being silly.
No, I think that's fully him looking in a zoetrope.
I do love that Universal in one of their biggest film releases is just being like, do you know who the real villain of this is? That was never the Wicked? It's Walt Disney. I do think that there's something very unironically very funny about that. And I don't necessarily know what I'm seeing in this next shot, wizardisms.
Interesting. So, when looking at the kind of March of the Witch Hunters section, that looks like either Shiz or the Emerald City. But it might be Shiz.
You think that's Shiz?
It's not Munchkinland.
Everyone's dressed like it's the Emerald City, because look at all these greens.
Yeah. Because if you look, there's just very big, there's very big pillars. And
what do we think this is with Ariana in this outfit?
That is...
Because that almost looks like Thank Goodness. Because the way they're dressed, like they're going to go, like some terrible green blizzard, throughout the land she flies. But Fiero and the Guards was very clearly in Emerald City.
It also vaguely looks
this is Munchkinland.
This could be the weird thing where it's the ending... And suddenly she's not in the same dress as she was at the start.
She's got like 4 or 5 different outfits that I can't quite attribute to different, because in Wicked, the second act, she wears like 3 different dresses and there's a lot more happening here.
Oh, unless I think I know what this is. I think they might do the Wizard of Oz scene with Dorothy.
That's Fallen House. That's the cat fight.
But I feel like they might show it as in their arrivals and stuff into the cat fight.
I agree, because the cat fight should we call it a cat fight? Is that progressive? In the stage musical Wicked, it very much assumes that you know the conversation that just happened, because they said, like, we have nothing else to say to each other. Like, that moment is not them seeing each other for the first time. They've just done the whole scene with Dorothy. But this isn't Munchkins. This is like dressed up folks.
But they're in Munchkinland, because you can see...
I know, but they're dressed for the Ascot Gavotte in My Fair Lady. This is... It's giving Thank Goodness. It's not giving Dorothy arrives in Munchkinland.
I don't know. But I also realised, I wonder how they're going to do the timings. Because it could be the start. Like the very, very start before we even get to Thank Goodness.
There are such big questions if we are going to see more of The Wizard of Oz, because you have the Wicked Witch of the West, aka Elphaba, coming face to face with Dorothy and friends, and without saying any more, that means something very different in the context of Wicked, because we never really see it in Wicked the musical, but the Wicked Witch taunting the Scarecrow and the Tin Man and the Lion and Dorothy.
The fact we've already seen the Lion, aka Burr, from his name in the books, we see his face in that scene is already more than I expected us to see.
That was the biggest reaction that we had in this trailer, kind of like with when the baby Elphaba shot started to emerge.
Because I'm already like, oh my gosh, we actually might be getting a lot more of them. Like the lion story and the evolution. Like, I wonder if they put that in there though as well. Because for people that don't know Wicked and know The Wizard of Oz, maybe for them, the revelation of seeing the lion suddenly puts two and two together in their brain that the lion is the cub in part one.
Yeah. I have more spoilery theories because it's all about Glenda and the wardrobe and these dresses. The dress that we saw her doing the For Good lines in is not the pink dress that looked like the cured meats that we saw at the start of the first film.
It's more like it's. I think it's the film's version of the blue dress in the musical.
So do they do For Good on this balcony outside Glinda's room, Emerald City, wherever they are? And is the pink dress something she then changes into after helping Dorothy and friends to go back home? She then goes and does everything else that happens, and then...
Oh, I could see that, and that's her
Are they separate?
That could be her...
Yeah.
That whole moment.
Are they separate scenes? But does that then mean she's not necessarily... Is Glinda still at Kiamako at the end? That's my big question. If For Good doesn't happen there, is Glinda still there? Or is Glinda...
But she's not at the end of the musical. Because at the end of the musical... She is back where she started.
No, but she's at Kiamako when it goes down. My question is she not even going to be there?
I think she's going to be there.
I don't know.
It's because in the musical, she goes from there, then she goes to the Emerald City.
I know, but her reason in the musical to be there is to sing For Good. And For Good, I don't think is happening at Kiamako. Discuss. Because we saw that shot of it happening somewhere else. We're going to have to get back to it. Right, hold on. Let's pause on this letter, first of all, and see what's... It's like an old school textbook.
I hope you
get what your heart desires, Glenda. And Elphaba's finding it later. This film's going to make us cry.
I feel like this seems quite a while later. Mm-hmm. I wonder if this is much, much later.
There are 3 scenes we've been waiting for because they were showed in early trailers. Now, for the most part, the Wicked Part 1 film trailers only included shots from Wicked Part 1, the first film, but there were a few, including the head on the shoulder in the poppy fields. Now, they showed a fleeting moment of that during No One Mourns, but there is also a bigger scene that comes from that has been cut, with like Fiero and Bok shirtlessly competing over something that was talked about in the film script. Hold.
Sorry, I saw the lion again.
And Glinda and Elphaba's hand on the yellow bricks was another one, like the building of the yellow brick road. We've waited for that in this. And the other was Glinda's wedding. And they've all made an appearance in this trailer.
Do we think the lion's going to have a voice? Because the lion does technically have to have a voice.
I assume so. And if so, who will it be?
Yeah, because he does talk.
We thought when we found out the whole casting for the first film that we were out of the woods as far as James Corden's possible involvement goes. But honestly, wouldn't be a terrible lion.
Yeah. I am fully intrigued. You get a full look at Burr when they go in between them. But what's interesting is you also can clearly see what the Scarecrow's wearing. Which hints very strongly to who...
Okay, stop it. We're seeing this Glinda wedding. Let's talk about this. Glinda and Fiero wedding. He's gulping at the aisle, feeling a certain type of way about it. We knew this already. But I'm just trying to see who we... I can't even get a freeze frame on it. Obviously, Glinda and Fiero never make it to a wedding in the musical. This is the first shot that we see. A lot of train going on here. The first film had a train, and this film also has a train, and all of the butterflies. How do we think this is going to change the storytelling now that there is an actual wedding? So either they've got to get married or something interrupts it.
I think he leaves at the altar.
You think he actively leaves, or it gets interrupted by like the chaos of the witch? She's in the sky.
No.
She's writing something mean.
No, because I think that pulls away from what that moment is.
Yeah.
Like, I think...
Because normally it's an engagement ball that she interrupts.
Yeah, and like, it feels like a clear she knows. And that's how she finds out. And I don't want that to be taken away.
We still think this is a real wedding and not a dream sequence?
I think it's for real. I think it's a real wedding, and then maybe Glinda's own song comes after that.
We see multiple hooded person on horseback shots. We see a closer version of them coming out of the castle by daylight, which you could kind of see at the start of No One Mourns, the first film, but we also see a shot of them arriving to the castle in darkness. Do we think it's Glenda?
And maybe that's
She has to be smuggled in and out.
for good.
No, I don't think it's for good, but I think the scene might still happen. Because she still has to rock up and be like, they're coming for you. Let this go. She still has to get given the Grimmery. She still has to get given the Grimmery. Because we see her holding it in the pink salmon dress when she's walking up the stairs.
There's another section I saw later of it on here where the animals, and you'll see them fleeing. Right after that, there's a shot of Glenda being badass, walking towards her bubble in her pink moment. Mm-hmm. And I think, this is my rogue theory, but I think we're going to see the animals, not the monkeys, but the animals freed by Glenda.
Well, this is...
I think that's a Glenda moment.
Here's the shot I saw that threw me. When we saw the Rainbow Pride Month Wizard Rave that we later both decided is probably the song Wonderful, Glinda's there. Glinda's there and she's not in Wonderful.
No, but then they're never in a song together.
Normally, Elphaba comes and stalks into the room, the wizard finds her, they sing Wonderful, and then monkeys get freed, Fiero comes in, and then Glinda comes in, and then the guards... No. Guards come in, Fiero sends the guards away. He's like, go find water. And then
he frees, and then she...
Which I think we see a shot of Fiero with the gun in this as well.
Realizes.
But the fact that Glinda is already there for Wonderful changes the storytelling. It's going to have to change. I know it seems like we're being very particular with the details, but it does have an impact, as we saw with that first film, on storytelling and on character.
Well, I already think there's a big plot line of this film that's going to change a lot of the timings, because the Wizard of Oz and how the Wizard of Oz works and how certain things have to happen, they really need to make timings work better, because in a musical, a reveal happens very, very late in the film. In the musical, because they don't need to ever make that reveal. In the film, they're going to have to make that reveal a lot earlier. There is things that happen in the musical on stage, they physically can get away with not showing until the end as a big reveal on stage. It's a moment. In the film, we already can tell by characters, and if they're showing characters,
I know. I just got where you're going with this.
They need to do a lot of plot points that do not exist in the musical a lot earlier in the film.
You're correct.
So the big reveal near the end of the musical is got to happen a lot earlier.
If you know, then you know.
If they're doing The Wizard of Oz and Wicked together and fully doing it and doing scenes, some big reveals at the end of the musical need to move very far forward for other characters appearing earlier. Don't make sense without...
Yeah. As we raise these questions and these curiosities, feel free to weigh in the comments. And also an answer to this. What's this? Is this the new Glinda song, do we think?
I think this is Glinda's new song because I believe it, I don't know the name of it, but I know it's something to do with bubbles.
The Girl in the Bubble, I thought it was.
Something like that. And if you look, they're surrounded by bubbles.
I'm
like bubbly lights.
I think it's more stars, but look at the bench they're sitting on and what it's made out of. It's two broomsticks lashed together, which is cute, obviously.
I wonder if there's something to the fact that Glenda is a witch.
Can we talk about the fact that it's the two of them sitting together on a broomstick and flying up in the air the way that they would have if she'd gone with her in Defying Gravity, but she didn't, which is such a moment in the first film because of that deleted scene where she's like, if you needed someone to help you with the lion cub, you could have asked me and I'd help you, and then Defying Gravity happens and she doesn't go with her.
Okay, the moment she's holding the Grimmery, that is Kiyomiko. In the blue dress.
Oh, okay, that is Kiyomiko. You're right.
That is Kiyomiko.
I got myself confused.
Yeah, and this is the scene.
Yeah, when she's like, I've had so many friends. This is the shot I was telling you about, the by daylight person fleeing on the horse. So we see Horsey arrival by night and Horsey fleeing by daytime. I think it's Glenda.
Yeah,
I think it's Glenda. Ariana Glenda. Okay.
And maybe the whole thing of seeing that is that I wonder if there's a tension in it that you don't know she's going to get back quick enough, and it's does she beat them?
Well, yeah, it's got consequences for her, for sure. Can we talk about how great Cynthia looks in this ensemble with like the shoulders and the hat and the hair down, and how just fierce she looks? All of the Glinda outfits look beautiful as she's really turning into Glenda the Good.
We also have this moment, which is the wizard going up in his hot air balloon that's not actually fully a hot air balloon because it obviously got destroyed.
Yeah, I don't know what that's
But
about.
that's his handbags, and that's him going
I don't know
up.
if that's him agreeing to leave circa the end of Wizard of Oz, or if it's during Wonderful and
I was
he's
going to say,
doing
or
something.
is it during Wonderful and he's trying to, like, rebuild, or...
We have a shot of Jonathan Bailey being very pointed with the pointing of the musket and being like, no, I'm pointing it this way, giving you a plot twist. And we can actually see who he's pointing it at. We can, like, that's not a spoiler, that's right up there in the trailer.
Oh, yeah, he's pointing it right at the wizard.
And then you see these animals fleeing very
And
much
right
by daylight.
after- wait for it, and right after, badass Glenda walking towards the thing. I think I know what happens.
Okay.
Do we want the theory or not?
You can share the theory. It's time for theories.
My theory is Glenda, it's Glenda who, when she does all the things she does, no spoilers, at the end of the film, after For Good, I believe she is the one where all the animals are being freed there and running and everything. I believe that is Glinda's actions. And then where we're seeing her walk towards the bubble, that is her about to go and take her place for No One Mourns the Wicked. At the very last number, that is her.
I think the animals don't get freed until then.
I think Elphaba frees the monkeys, and we get a very sad moment with Dr. Dillamond, and then I think Glenda finishes Elphaba's story.
Yeah.
I think both witches. I think that's like the legacy, because when you see it, it's like Elphaba's flying with the monkeys, which is her, which means she has to still free the monkeys. But I think for the moments, for the pathos and stuff to happen, the animals can't also be freed,
Yeah, I agree.
because she has to still have her mission operandi.
Yeah, I think I've only got a couple of questions really from there. A lot of it's making sense. We're not seeing stuff indicative of, like, there's only a couple of scenes we can't attribute to specific moments, scenes and songs. I do think that John did such a great job in the first film of, it didn't feel like they added in much. They just fleshed out everything and gave it more dimension and depth. And I think we're going to see a lot of that, but we are going to see a couple of new songs and scenes, some of which haven't necessarily been teased already. The Anne Juliet, they're on a swing together moment is intriguing. There's a couple too many Glinda dresses, and I think the timeline of that is curious. Which one is Thank Goodness and where that's happening, I'm not quite sure on.
My whole thing is like, does the timings of all the Wizard of Oz bits move?
Yeah.
Because
And it has an impact. It's got to have an impact.
if these two new songs are before the whole Wizard of Oz section, and like, are we still going to get a really oddly condensed? And I don't think that would work, because the timelines don't make sense. I think you really need to
My theory is that
flesh out them in their roles and how that works and how the timelines work, because yes, loads of people will know Wicked, but anybody that knows the Wizard of Oz and watching it might get really confused on film.
yeah, I don't think The Girl in the Bubble is necessarily... I mean, it sounds like it should be an introspective song where she's singing about her role, but she has so many of those. She has
Well,
I'm Not That Girl reprise. She
gonna
has
say-
Thank Goodness. That's what that is.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if this is maybe a later on. Yeah, because it makes me go, is The Girl in the Bubble just a replace of I'm Not That Girl reprise? Which I hope not, because I like
I hope
that.
not. And I think you'd like symmetry, like a reprise from one film to the next is a nice moment. We never normally see two-part movie musicals, so we don't normally get that. I also think we've seen Elphaba's song, her new one, and I think it's when she's working in the foresty area by daylight. And I think you're going to see a flashback moment of Fiero hunting her in the forest and catching a glimpse of her, and she's thinking about it.
I think I know when it is. I think I'm Not That Girl. I think The Girl in the Bubble is after their big like standoff, because this time doesn't seem about it doesn't sound like the lost love between them and the deceit. It feels like remembering why they love each other, which feels like it'd be after that moment.
No, that can't happen till For Good.
No, but
That's the whole point of For Good.
But I think that song's the impetus for Glenda to try and help save Elphaba.
I disagree.
Okay.
And we could talk more about why, but I think it comes earlier when they still think there's hope for the friendship, and it's not until the Fiero of it all changes that, and then and then fallen house, as they call it in the business, happens, and then they are very mad at each other, and that scene has to go into No Good Deed directly. I'm so sorry, but some things are sacred. That has to go into the way that scene ends.
No, I
It has to
agree.
go then into No Good Deed. And they don't reconcile until For Good. For Good is a reconciliation song, it's what it is.
I don't think that's a reconciliation song.
What, Girl in the Bubble?
No, I think that's a dream sequence. I think that's a Glenda dream sequence.
But I think it
song.
steps on For Good.
Maybe, and maybe that's what we'll find when we see it. But I think that's a song where I think that's Glenda's No Good Deed. I think that's what that will be.
I think it's going to be earlier. I think the new songs are earlier because the second act material inherently feels like late stage plot. And so to have it all at the start of a film is weird. So I think they're going to front load it with new stuff to push the material of the second act into the film's natural second act, structurally speaking.
Maybe.
That's my theory.
I just would hope not, because then I feel like we're going to have the same issue that feels in the musical, which is where the Wizard of Oz plotline
Feels rushed.
feels really rushed at the end, and I don't think it'll work, because we've already seen a clip of a character that I'm like, that would only work if it is not following it can't follow the film plotline.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Categorically cannot follow the musical plotline for that moment to happen.
There's lots we haven't seen. Like you said, we haven't seen Nessa Rose and Bach.
Because the March of the Witch Hunters,
I know. We all know, unless, of course, you don't know. But evidently we have very strong feelings about this. I think we've kind of spoken to almost every single image and every sound that you hear. I haven't really analysed too much the vocals and everything. It sounds like there wasn't anything surprising. I don't think we heard new music. We heard like a tease of No Good Deed, and we heard the same kind of editing effects that Defying Gravity had in the first trailer. It sounds great. It feels also, as far as sequels go, and they film them at the same time, it feels so similar to the first one. They feel so naturally
they feel together. It feels like it doesn't feel like one of those films where they're going back, where it's like been created a little bit after and they're trying to recreate that energy. You can tell this was the whole same team following it through.
So I don't think there needs to be a separate frame-by-frame trailer breakdown. I think we've kind of talked through it all. Lots of questions arisen, a couple of working theories from us about changes that we might see to the storyline, where those new songs might be appearing, but I'd love to hear your theories as well, because people said a great many things that I think turned out to be accurate last time. Like the Windows of it all, and remember that Windows saga, when I cared way too much, and the Who's on the Horse of it all. But yeah, evidently there's going to be more to discuss on the yellow brick road to the release of this film. There will be more trailers, I dare say. So if you want to stay up to date with all things Wicked Part 2 between now and the film, and you want to hear from the passionate theatre fans, dare we say musical theatre experts, dare we say it? We're seeing a lot of Broadway shows this week, I'm just saying. Make sure you're subscribed right here on YouTube. Follow us wherever you can find us on social media, and we will be continuing to talk about all things Wicked movie until Part 2 is released, and then it's over!
I know.
I'm not ready for it to be over. In the meantime, it's been lovely sharing this moment with you, and it's been lovely sharing this moment with all of you. I've heard it said that people come into my tiny camera to watch us talk about Wicked. And because we knew you, we have been able to do this here in New York. It's quite late, and I'm eager to get this video online for you to watch it. So thank you for joining us. Stay tuned for more Wicked content coming in the coming weeks, in the coming months. Who knows? In the meantime, we both hope that you are staying safe and that you have a stagey day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
For 10 more seconds, I'm Mickey Joe Theatre. Oh my god, hey. Thanks for watching. Have a stagey day. Subscribe!